Hello. Um, so I have blank canvases. Well, they're gray because I painted over them, but I have blank canvases because I've been really into, I'm probably late to the game, um, the like really trendy color block type of art. And I think it's super accessible. And I was like, hemming and hawing over whether or not I wanted to do this because I kind of am thinking about making some of this art digitally and maybe trying to sell like digital downloads on Etsy. So we'll see if that happens. But um, that felt dirty. Like, oh, I'm not going to teach them or show them how easy it is for them to do this themselves just because I might want to sell it. So I want to show this to you because it is something that I think is super accessible and easy, but difficult in a different way than other painting, right? Because sometimes I talk about like difficulty in blending or in like knowing what elements you want to put in or how colors work together. This one is more, if you want to call any part of it difficult, it's more difficult because you of like choosing how to orient things in space and what goes together shape-wise because they're all going to be flat. There's zero blending in this. Okay, that might sound great to some people and not so great to others, but hey, Amy, that's okay. You can just watch me ramble on for an hour. It's totally cool. I have two because I feel like this is the type of art that you could really kind of adapt in multiple different ways and make it all work together. So while art that spreads across two or three pieces of paper or canvases is a diptych or a triptych, we're not necessarily going to do that today. It's more like a collection of items that kind of sort of go together. They have like similar elements and similar color schemes that you can like kind of make like a gallery wall vibe in your house. So that's why there's no like mandated colors you need, no specific brushes. I didn't paint anything ahead of time because I want you to like take what I'm saying and do your own thing with it, which is a thing I try to get you to do all the time anyway. Hi, Jennifer. It's fine. You just missed my preamble ramble. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. So you can choose to completely just kind of wing it, which is generally what I do. If you've watched any of my other classes, you know that I'm just like, yeah, let's try it. Or you can like sketch some ideas out ahead of time. That might be good, especially if you're wanting to make like 5, 6, 7 pieces that kind of all go together eventually. That's definitely within the realm of possibility with what kind of art I'm talking about today. So I'm gonna sketch it with some chalk. I'm hoping I painted these dark enough that you can see the chalk. Yeah, you should be able to see that. It is, however, super helpful for me if I get myself a cloth. I'll get it when I get up to that part. Yeah, so I'm gonna sketch ahead of time just because I have like an image in my head. But I think like honestly, if you go to Pinterest right now and type in trendy art or trendy art prints or trendy art paintings, you'll get exactly what I'm talking about. It's like this combination of organic shapes and with inorganic elements. I guess that's the entire world, right? We're all organic or inorganic. It's this weird combination of abstract but still identifiable, and it's all flat, and I just really like it. So I have this image in my head, and for me, I do two different ones with similar colors and similar elements, and we'll go from there. I see, and again, I'm not measuring anything, and I'm not trying to be super exact. I want it to be clean, but I don't want it to look like a computer made it. So I see like these semicircles stacked on top of each other. Well, now I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, those just look like turtles. I guess I should probably try to like make them be similar sizes, right? I feel like each of these classes, you guys get a further glimpse into the oddness that is my head, and I'm really sorry about that. So I see, now I can't also claim that my thoughts with this are 100% original. I've seen so much of this art out there that like I'm just kind of taking that inspiration. So it's not like I invented this. I'm just kind of showing you how I'm interpreting it. And I'm gonna do 1, 2. I kind of wanted 3 before I got to the top element, but I think I made these too tall. Yeah, let me get a cloth. Hold on. If you've watched before, you know that this is why I use chalk, and it's because it erases very easily. Okay, so I made my semicircles a little too tall. So let's tone these babies down a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Like him. Less turtly. I'm gonna leave like the smallest little gap. Let's see, it's about a finger height for me. I'm a big fan, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but I'm a big fan of like measuring things without a ruler. So and tracing things. So like if you need a circle, like find a cup or like a jar lid or something. I don't know, I just don't like measuring things with numbers and actual straight edges and like the way you're supposed to do things. It's just not my jam. I just find art that's like super exact to be not boring because there's definitely skill, but it's boring for me to make. If I have to measure like exactly how to, that's why I don't do, first of all, it's why I don't draw. But when I have tried to draw in the past, everybody has said like in the beginning, use the grid, right? I think I talked about this before. Like you draw a grid on what you're trying to copy, and then you draw a grid on your paper, and then you kind of like align the squares with each other so you only have small pieces to copy at once or to reference at once. I can't do that because the whole idea of having to like draw a grid on my paper first just already is a barrier for me. Like I won't start. So yeah, that's again just a little bit about how my brain works. Okay. So yes, I measure things by like finger widths and cell phone heights and water bottle caps and all of that. Okay, so now I picture, because I had these like round, 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 I pictured a reversed one. So I guess I should probably still keep it like the same height. And it doesn't have to be the same width. Maybe it should be. Also, like arches in general are very in right now. I watch a lot of like interior decorating and design YouTube people, and you know all of them. It's just their personal opinion, just like any design or art is my personal opinion. But a lot of the people, I think I watched like 2 of them who were like, "Can we please just kill the arch? Like people are painting arches on every single wall in their house, like to highlight a bookshelf, and like, can we please kill it?" And I'm like, but it's cute. So I like the arch. Okay, so I've got these shapes, right? And now I'm picturing a plant in here, but very rudimentary. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Like these things are all kind of like rudimentary in style, but you can look at them and still be like, oh, cool, I think that's a plant. That's kind of what we're going for here. So I think I'm going to just do some big leaf shapes here. We can have, actually, do I want one to cross over? No, I don't want them to cross over because they're all going to be the same color. You won't be able to tell them apart. So we'll just go with different heights to keep it interesting. And different like widths. And then I do want one to flop over. So I'm going to kind of do this guy and then have that's very long. What did I do? It's a very long leaf compared to his leaf friends. Okay, but he bent over, right? So this is like bent and then okay, cool. Yeah, why not? Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So now for the other one, I want to do something that's going to have similar elements, but and similar colors, but completely different. So these arches, these kind of like rainbow things, are in these rainbow kind of silhouettes. So I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna do like a skinny, narrow. Skinny and narrow are the same thing. Set of arches here. And now you can choose. So like what I just drew, I can say, okay, this is going to be background color and this little guy is going to be a color. And then I can make something in between and do it like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. You get to choose the width of what colors you're making, right? Let's see. So if this is background, this is a color, then I want a skinny background and a wide color. Cool. Okay. Then I want one that like is a slightly different shape. So I'm going to maybe do like an L-shaped one. This like style is also very like retro 70s-ish, which or like mid-century modern / 70s, I'm very into right now. Okay, so I'm gonna do now wider. And switch it up, right? So like I've been trying to do like wide, narrow, but like you could do wide, wide. I'm gonna do like a skinny one here. Okay, cool. And I like some intersection of and like repeating elements. So what I'm actually gonna do is I want okay, yes. So I want there to be like a color block. Do I want it to go across the back? Yeah, I guess it will. So I'm going to color block this area. Now, with stuff like this, in theory, that is something that you should measure and make sure is straight, especially when it's just a single line. I'm kind of eyeballing it. I think I did an okay job. What I am going to do, though, is I'm just going to make sure to erase it from the rainbow that I want. That I want to make sure I know I'm painting over. So I decided this is background color, so we're going to leave it there. This is going to be a color. This is going to be a color. This is background, and then color. Okay. Just so that I know, because I know I'll forget, like I just did right now. Background, background, background. Cool. I want to show you that this is like, I think that sometimes just the planning of something really more simple is a lot of fun. Like, you don't have to be trying to make the Mona Lisa for it to be a creative process. Like, I just like to color things in sometimes. Okay, so because I have this now straight element and I kind of want these two to work together, I'm also looking at this in the camera and I'm noticing that it's a little bit more justified to this side. In this drawing, it's just a smidge off to the to my right. So I'm going to do, wow, I'm really like going with the finger measure all over here. I'm going to color block a little area over here. Now, it is going to drive me nuts that this is like exactly touching that color block. So I will probably extend that leaf a little bit over just so it crosses that line. And I think that'll make it more visually interesting. Cool, I like it. Let's paint. Now, what's trendy, again, I hate saying the word trendy because I was one of those kids growing up that like was not cool enough to do the cool thing. So I just like de facto ended up liking the like uncool, not mainstream stuff. And then like that becomes, and I'm sure there's a lot of us like that, where that kind of like becomes part of your personality, where like, ooh, I liked so-and-so until they went mainstream or whatever. So like the concept of liking trends now as an adult is really like weird to me, but I'm also kind of getting over the fact that like I just like what I like and I don't give a crap what other people say. I just don't, especially when it comes to art. You take it down and paint it over. It's not a big deal. Or hang on to it for 20 years in your garage and then sell it at a garage sale when it becomes trendy again. Okay. But if you are looking to emulate the style of what is really in, it's very muted, natural, warm tones, which of course I'm completely out of. Also, I tend to recommend with stuff like this, not recommend, I don't talk to anybody but you guys. I tend to want to pick colors that I don't have to mix. So if you have a specific color, like paint-wise, that is maybe perfect but just needs some white or something, that's what I would go with, as opposed to having to concoct your own color, because this is one of those instances where you really, if you're making multiple pieces, you really want them to match the same. If you're like picking 4 or 5 colors, you want them to be consistent across all. So take that with a grain of salt, grain of sand, salt. I think it's salt. I like this. I don't know if this is, I think I have to add white to this sap green. Yeah, I'm going to add white to this, but I like this tone of green. It's like a mossier kind of earthy green instead of like this is a very cool green, and this is, well, the color that comes out of this tube does not look like this, but it's more of a warm tone. And then I have that color that I always call peanut butter. It's every brand calls it something different. Raw sienna is the most common. This one calls it yellow oxide, and this one calls it yellow ochre. They are all, I'm sure there's, like, if you studied the pigments of them, I'm sure they are different, but they all kind of look the same. So I'm just gonna claim that they're the same. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the backgrounds kind of like a warm taupey gray. It's kind of what I'm feeling for this one. Also, I've been collecting these empty tubies because I don't want to throw them out, because I don't want to litter and do horrible things for the environment as much as possible, and there's like chemicals in this, but I haven't decided what I'm doing with them yet. I've just been throwing them on the floor under my easel. Okay, there's also a lot of browns. Now, this is the, yeah, grain of salt, okay. This is the last tube of brown I have, and it is almost gone, so I don't know what element. I'm gonna have to pick like a small element for this brown. That's fine. This claims to be red oxide, but it's really just like a rust colored brown. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of that. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I should probably have a background. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a green. They can all be like multiple shades. Like you could do a brown, you could do a raw sienna, and then you could do like a mixture of the two plus white. So you don't have to have like completely different colors. I am almost out of white. And my white actually has this like gross like plug in it from me not taking care of it properly. Like it's, ew, it's gross. Okay. Ew. Next big thing of white, I'm going to have to make sure I get one that comes with a pump that fits. I had a pump when I bought this, and I thought that those things were universal. They're not. I'm dumb. I don't know. All right. I'm going to mix my background color first, which would require black. And I just want a smidgen of black because I just want to make it a little bit of a grayed out poopy color. I'm also almost out of black. Dang. Okay. So ordinarily, if you've taken any of these classes, I usually say it doesn't matter if you have to remix, or it's cool if you have multiple colors on your brush at one time and you get a streaky vibe. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. However, with this style, generally, I'm going for a flat color. A lot of these style paintings do have some texture in them, so that's fine. Although I think that texture is probably created digitally, honestly. But yeah, I want to try to mix like as much as I possibly can to get enough to do what I'm trying to do. Does that make sense? Wow, this white is not liquid. It is solid. Oof. I'm gonna have to water this down. Okay, so I'm gonna take some white. I'm gonna take some of my peanut butter color. I'm gonna take a little bit of black. Yeah, I like that color. However, I highly doubt this is enough for everything I need. Well, I'll just have to color match it. Okay. Again, the color choices that I'm making, you don't have to be making. You make your own color choices. And I'm actually painting the sides of mine today. I usually skip that, and I just encourage you guys to do that. But I'm kind of wanting to maybe hang these up if they come out nicely. So, because the way that I've been doing this with my big canvases for class is that I've been painting over them with gesso, but after a certain amount of times of gessoing, your canvas is just not usable anymore. And so instead of like retiring it and making it garbage, I'd rather not let it get to that point and just use it for being art. The skin plug that lives in the tip of paint tubes. Yeah, it's disgusting. Now, alternatively, I will say that the background colors of these paintings don't have to be the same. So if I do run out of this color, I can decide to do something different. because it's like the whole sisters not twins thing. That's what we're going for here. I'm really serious. If you are into this idea but you don't like the shapes I chose, do something different. Literally, like, Pinterest is really your friend. If you think I'm your friend, that's fantastic, but Pinterest is also your friend, and possibly a better friend because it probably won't text you at 3 in the morning when it can't sleep. I'm looking at you, Stephanie, because I text you at 3 in the morning frequently. Yeah, I did not mix enough of this color. It's fine. So, is anybody watching anything fun? Any new recommendations? I haven't had any of those in a while. That much, huh? The only thing I've been watching is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I won't do spoilers, but it's really good. Party of Five from the 90s. Okay. What's his face? What's his name? Who doesn't age? The actor in Party of Five who doesn't age. Not that that's part of his character. The actor just has looked the same since 1990. Wrapping up Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know. I'm going to be really despondent about not having more Falcon and Winter Soldier. Scott Wolf, yes, thank you. He doesn't age. I don't know how he does it. He's got the same genes as I don't even know why I try. Names don't work for me. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was who I was gonna say has the same genes. These dudes don't age. This is disgusting. I might throw up looking at this white paint. I apologize for putting that on the internet. It's disgusting. Yeah, I don't know what's up with their faces. I want to know what they eat. What's their skincare routine? It looks like cottage. Oh, my white paint. I thought you meant Paul Rudd's face, and I was like, girl, we have to have a conversation. Yeah, the white paint is not, it's not cute. It's not where it's at. I don't enjoy it. Yeah, Ian Somerhalder also has one of those faces. I agree. Although I haven't seen him in a while. We're best buds. Yes, since Clueless. Yes, agreed. Do you ever have that celebrity that you didn't know was going to be that celebrity until they became that celebrity, and then you look back 10 years later and you're like, holy crap, had I known what I know now, then. Also, a thing that's trendy, I haven't seen anybody do it on Canvas. Actually, I should try it and see what happens if I do it on Canvas. Is this concept of painting glassware, but you mix baking soda into it, and it makes it, first of all, like apparently stick to anything, but also have this like really intense, like cement like texture. What happens if I paint on a canvas like that? I'm gonna have to try that. Sorry, I took this away from you guys' ability to see. I just literally couldn't hold my arm up anymore. Also, do as I say and not as I do, because I have remixed this color 14 times. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And one day I will learn my lesson and not think I can get through 2 paintings in one class, but today's just not that day. They took Mad Men off Netflix? That's a bummer. I never like really got into it. I think I watched like the first half of the first season and it was good. I only watched it because it was like an ad agency and I wanted to see like how they did graphic design and stuff back in the day. But I wasn't my thing. Did I prep Stephanie? Why am I calling you Stephanie? That's weird. I don't think I prepped anything. I just make stuff up as I go. It's just really well uncut in me. Okay, I'm gonna say something. It's not gonna be a spoiler, but it's about Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I promise it's not a spoiler. Not a specific thing, anyway. But you know what? One of my favorite things about it is how they have on multiple occasions. Like as a fan, when you watch something, especially people who are like really into shows or movies, like they'll pick it apart and they know like when there's a plot hole you could drive a truck through. They're answering some of those, and I love everything about that. Like, kind of like, I'm trying to think of an example that's not supernatural, but I can't. But like how we wanted to know, like when they do laundry or when they put gas in their car, like those things like that. Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier is answering that for some of the how do superheroes do this, how do Avengers do that questions, and I love it. I love everything about it. Yeah, this painting is 15 different colors because I didn't mix enough. I don't know if you could tell, but it's fine. Has anybody else like been really angry lately? I've been really angry, like at everything lately. Just wondering if it was like the moon or the sun or something, or if it was just me and my weird hormones. The stuff in the last episode made me cry. I've never cried during a little. Aww. Yeah, this past episode was definitely had emotions. Okay, let's see if I can fix how many different colors this is now. Not too bad. It's been distressing. I feel like I maybe am taking that distress and not applying it to the appropriate sources. But like it's easier to do that, right? So can we just all maybe agree that we can maybe take our hostility and stress and anger out on other things? As long as we're not hurting anybody. Because like can't do anything about most of what's going on in the world. But I can be really angry when I receive my grocery order and my avocado is already bad. Like that I could be angry about, right? When you dip your brush in water, are you doing that to help spread the paint or to help the canvas absorb the paint? That's a good question. I water my paint down, especially when I'm doing multiple thin layers. I don't do it all the time, but on this particular, because I've been gessoed so much, it doesn't absorb anything. And it has a rough texture, like almost like you primed it. So, well, because I did prime it. So it's to help spread the paint. Or blend it if it was a blending situation. Also, I think I've come to the conclusion that my brushes are just crap and they just don't hold or move the paint around the way I want. So I'm just waiting until they die and then I'll get new brushes. I actually have a little jar. I highly recommend you do this too. I have a little jar where I put brushes when they break or if they need some love and attention. And it's my little jar. It's my little brush hospital. So I have some other brushes that are not these that are older that like this part has come off because I've left it soaking in water for so long that it degrades the glue. Or like the coating has stripped and I want to like coat it in some Mod Podge. Or it's frayed and I want to try to like nurse it back to health and maybe trim. So I have a little brush hospital. So if you're trying also to not put things back into the environment and throw things out, you can do that. Thank you for allowing me to be mad about my avocados. Yes. I hope you got your Tylenol. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to stop futzing with this because I could repaint this 17 times. But I actually like it. I like that it's not 100% perfect because I think it kind of looks like stone, and I like that. Now the question is, okay, we've got 20 minutes left. Do I want to do this? Yeah, why not? We're just talking, right? Let's see. Amy, I don't remember what I just said that you're thanking me for my honesty on, but I genuinely like I'm the worst liar ever. And I see like very little value in it. I'm also not a good secret keeper, so don't ever tell me your secrets. Well, I can keep a secret as long as like I'm allowed to tell one person. So like if there's a secret and I can tell my mom, that's cool. Or if my mom tells me a secret, but I'm allowed to tell like my best friend and just not put it on the internet, like that's okay. Just like have this need to tell one other person, so I'm not the only one in the universe who knows. But other than that, don't tell me your secret. Got paint on my sign. Yeah, I feel that. That seems to always be the case when you place a grocery order, right? It's like the one thing that you really, really needed, or like is integral to a recipe that you got 10 other items for, and now you have these 10 other items and you can't make the recipe because they didn't have insert essential item. It always happens. Oh, honest about anger. Yeah, I'm not. I feel like I have not been very kind lately, and I apologize to people who that might have made angry. But I also don't know that I'm going to change anytime soon. Just again, being honest. So I'm also probably adding a lot more water to this than I usually would because this white is disgustingly thick. The past year has been radicalized one. I think we're tired of keeping. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you, Steph. Yeah. Well, first of all, it's part of it, I feel like, is that we haven't been around other people to be overly concerned about their comfort. And then the other part is that we've realized that for the most part, again, unless it's like a physical comfort thing or like an actually detrimental to someone's psyche thing, that our comfort and our like mental state has to be the priority for ourselves. And it's hard to, now that we're like maybe sometimes expected to start going back out into the world and society and interacting with humans, that now we have to figure out how to navigate that, especially when that was like a comfortable place for us, right? Like if you were thriving in quarantine because you don't like the in-person human interaction, or because you were going through something that you just needed that time to go through and now you're just expected to like turn that off, that's not good. Okay, so this was going to be background too, right? Yes. I feel like that's got to be something that we need to talk about more, is like the adapting. Like we want things to go back to normal, but we also need to adapt our definition of normal, because there is, first of all, our original definition of what was normal is fucked, to be honest. And like a lot of us don't want to go back to normal. Like we want to go back to a level of normalcy, maybe, but the way things were before was not good. And so all of this desire to go back to it for some folks is not a healthy, productive thing. Yeah, definitely not into people. I just went to Lowe's to the garden center, which was outdoors technically. So I guess less people felt obligated to wear masks. But my area is also not under a mask mandate because the governor of Tennessee is awful. Well, actually, that was a regional county decision. So, but anyway, yeah. So I would say less than half of the people, and it's Sunday and it was busy and people are gardening. It's nice out. Less than half the people there were wearing masks, and I just don't want to people. I just don't want to people. Especially with this, like these little details here, I really like to be imprecise. I think that just like makes it look a little bit more organic and playful. So I'm not stressing about these lines, especially because I'm going to paint the color sections over it, and then I can be like slightly more precise with those, but sorry, I look like I'm just staring at nothing, but I'm reading the chat. Yeah, I pretty much don't leave the house, but I am fully vaccinated, and so is my mom, and I've been pretty much holding my mom captive for over a year. So, like, she finally went to get a haircut, and I asked her when she came home if she felt safe, and I like made sure that I found a place that was still requiring masks, just on a business level, and they were, and she said very safe. The person who did her hair was fully vaccinated, and he was wearing a mask, and everybody else in the place was wearing masks. So I felt, comfortable there. And when we went to Lowe's together today, to go look at plants, and when we were driving, my mom pointed out that there was like a Waffle House that looked fully busy, like 40 or more people in there not wearing masks because they were eating. And she's like, yeah, I'm not ready for that. And I'm like, I'm never going back to that. So not until things are possibly significantly under control. Okay. I have to paint things that are not this. I have spent the majority of this class painting this background. Come on. Get your crap together, Ileana. I think I've decided that even though this should be background, I'm going to paint that a solid color too. But interestingly, I didn't actually plan it this way, but it makes sense. When you are painting stuff like this that is color blocked, you do kind of want to leave some dry time budgeted, because ordinarily I wouldn't care if your wet paint colors touch, because I'm like, oh, you're just going to blend and it'll be fine. But we're not really blending. So giving yourself some time for things to dry in between so that when we paint that, we don't have to worry about it touching a wet background is actually a good thing. So now I have to decide if my color block area, what color my color block area is going to be. I think I don't want it to go too much darker than this, because like in tonality, because I like the idea that like the items in it are going to be the thing that really stands forward. So I'm going to keep that fairly toned down. Maybe I'm just going to do gray, like a darker version of this background. Like, so I'm adding in some of my peanut butter color to make it kind of like a dark taupey. Let's see. That's too much of the peanut butter. That looks a little baby poopy. Yeah, some more white and some more black. Okay, that's better. Yeah, let's do it. That's the story of my life. It's fine. That's okay. Your pastels and your black edges can touch. It's fine. I'm glad you enjoyed that laugh. I have no ability to paint this the correct color. It's fine. But this is also like me screwing up the color 5 times is also part of the process. Maybe not your process, but it's part of my process. Is that I like have this weird need to get paint on the canvas. Like I can't, if I'm supposed to be sitting down to make something, I can't look at a blank canvas. It freaks me out and I don't start. So I just have to have the paint down, and then I look at it later and I'm like, no, this isn't right. And then I paint over it 7 times. It's just my process. We're just about done with class. We didn't get to any of the colors. I'm just not on my game today, guys. Sorry. But I think you have the concept. You can feel free to put in the chat if you don't have the concept and you'd like to just keep painting and chatting. I really don't think that I have anything else I need to be doing right now. But ooh, love a good kneaded eraser. I haven't used a kneaded eraser in forever. I haven't needed a kneaded eraser in forever. That was good. Come on, admit it. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. So I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. And I'm going to, let's see, what happens if I just take this green and mix some white into it? Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay. So remember, we're doing flat colors here. So I'm going to paint all of these leaves the same green. And then for the leaf that is bent over, I'm going to paint the back of that just a slightly darker version of the same color green, just so that you can see that it's in shadow, but the rest of these guys all have the same tonality. And I'm just like painting into the bowl because I haven't painted the bowl yet, so why not? That's why I like to paint back to front, because you could just paint something and then paint something else in front of it, and you don't have to worry about all of the edges. You only have to worry about part of the edge. Okay. That color block line is not even remotely straight, huh? Because remember when I drew it, I said that it was going to cross over that. Is it straight? Is it even? Kind of? Not really? Let's see here. I might have just painted over the leaf, which is entirely possible. But I'm definitely just making it worse. It's fine. Okay. Okay, well, we're at the hour mark, so the debate needs to leave. I totally understand. I do just kind of want to finish some of this. I don't know. We'll see. So let's get back to this green now. Okay, so I'm going to just take a little bit off to the side and make it just a little darker for this guy. And then I went back to the lighter green. I did have it go over my color block. Cool. I like that. Okay. So now for my circles, I'm going to be stereotypical. No, actually I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to put this in a terracotta kind of color. Maybe I am. Yeah, I am. So I'm going to take that reddish brown, pull some over to the side. I'm going to take some white and mix it in. Again, it's so much easier if you're just taking one color and mixing it with some white. It's so much easier to match, across all the different things. And so this is where I think being like really imprecise is kind of nice. Like I like the look of a little bit of like a softer, like not super rounded line, you know? I think it's funny because I think like as people, Steph was saying that she's painting ahead of me because I took 17 years to do my background. She didn't say that, but she's doing the same steps as I am, and I think like once you're introduced to the concept of painting back to front, like it's very intuitive. Like I think most of us paint back to front without thinking about the fact that we're painting back to front. Especially after the first couple of times you paint. You're just like, oh yeah, duh. Now you could also, I know I talked about these colors being flat, but let's say you want just a little bit of spice. I'm going to show you. It looks like no one has left yet, so that's fun. Glad you're sticking around for my insanity. You can add some interesting elements without them being like blended or like leaving the style. So what do I mean by that? Well, you could choose to highlight this thing, jar, bowl, whatever it is, or the leaves, and you could just do that with white. So you could, if you wanted to, take some white. Now this is wet, so it's gonna mix in, which is not what I want. But you could say, okay, this area here is gonna be my highlight. And so you can color block in a lighter area. Now it's just gonna make it a lighter terracotta right now, so that's fine with me. You can color block in just that like highlighted lighter area and still keep it in like a rigid-ish geometric kind of shape. So don't feel like because we're blocking everything out that you can't add something different or some visual interest. Because I think something like that is really cool. I wouldn't do it like to every single one, or if you're gonna do it to the leaves, I would like do it to the leaves and not the pot, you know, that kind of thing. But I think that's kind of cool and interesting. Another element that's really popular that I've noticed are, especially when you're doing lots of like somewhat clean lines like this, it's these like polka dotty things. So for example, I've seen it a lot where they do it in like a very high contrast color like black. So I'm just taking my black paint here, and they will add like, and they'll cross over a color block line sometimes. So these are like blobby, polka dotty things that you can add if you're feeling like it. It's up to you if that like brings you joy or not. You can play around with what colors they would occur in or what brush. Like I just did that, and now I'm thinking that if I switched to a flat brush and did like little square like dashes, that might actually look better. So I can go over. Yeah. Oh, I like that much better. A lot of the ones I saw online though were polka dots, but I like a little squared off dash. It still can be really rough, like it doesn't have to be a complete brush stroke. Oh, I like that much better. They can touch, they can intersect. So I'm just throwing that out as like a stylistic idea thing. I think it'll look better when this whole thing is done instead of having these gaps. Cool, I like that. I'm a fan. Okay. So now I want a peanut butter colored guy. And this peanut butter color actually has like a lot of white in it, so I think I'm gonna leave it like straight and not mix anything. Now, if you painted your background a darker color and you're using a color like this, you might have a hard time covering it to do these little like cleanup lines, but I think it's all good. And I haven't mentioned it, but obviously you're going to, if you're doing multiple pieces, you'll carry it over, right? So like maybe this guy will be your yellowy color. And I didn't paint my color bar here, but you get the idea. Okay. How are we doing? It's like almost an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to like try not to be so ambitious next time. But as you do these and finish them up and like make whole walls of them or something, or even if you just decide to do one big one or whatever, I want to see them as usual. So please post them on social media, tag me so that I can see them. And yeah, I will hopefully see you next week. I don't think there's any conflicts there. I will probably be taking an extended break in the very near future, but I will let you know more about that soon. Hopefully. Okay. I love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you later.